This is Miss Strickland sitting beside me, and she came from Baptist Health, and she came to our class and gave us a presentation about dietitian and reasons why you should be more informative about dietitian.
Buying the fruits and vegetables as often as possible. Those aren't that expensive as opposed to buying potato chips. Because those potato chips add up really quickly, even though they're kind of cheap. You can even make potato chips at home a lot cheaper than you can buy them in the store, to be completely honest. Because you just buy the potatoes and you can make them. And they'll be healthier than anything you can buy in the store.
So I'm Allison Strickland. I'm a registered dietitian for Baptist Health Management. And I came to discuss what it means to be a dietitian, what I do on a daily basis with my job, because I teach both diabetes patients and cardiac patients healthy nutrition to help their bodies.
And she came to talk to us today during second period about diabetes, different types of health plans, and what kind of diabetes we can have throughout our life if we don't eat a certain way.
Okay, so she talked about the difference between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Type 1 is where your body doesn't have any insulin, I believe, and type 2 is where your cells reject the insulin.
One thing that I remember when she was showing her presentation was how she showed us how our blood flow, and she gave us examples of how it flows if you have thick blood during with your glucose, and how diabetes has affected people over time and what happens with it.
Although I focus on diabetes education and cardiac nutrition education, everybody eats food. So everybody's going to eat something, and everybody needs to know what's healthy for the body and what's not.
You can always go on to a diet plan. The diet plan, it helps you, it kind of sets a budget and a limit.
So I use the food models to show some of our patients what carbs are and how much a serving would be considered. So we've got all 4 of these items are considered carbohydrates. So we've got the orange, the corn, the beans, and the rice, and they're all considered carbohydrates. And then we've got 2 non-starchy vegetables, and we've also got a pork chop. And the way that I use these is to show what a serving size would be. So you don't want to go and get a giant orange when this is 15 carbs, which is 1 carb serving. So I want them to be able to know what a carb serving looks like so they can build their menus the way they need to at home.
I think it was that apple juice had hold, I believe, had holded 12 ounces. So this right here is what you would drink in a 12 ounce of apple juice. And soda, was another 12 ounces. That's how much sugar you're drinking throughout your day, and that's not pretty much healthy.
Really, there's not a whole lot of good thing about a soda, but you do get a little bit of water, but it's not going to be as hydrating because it has all that sodium in it. It's going to actually make you more thirsty. So it's better to drink the water or to drink something. Like if you are doing a lot of physical activity, things like Gatorade would help. Those would replenish those electrolytes that we need, but soda does not.
She really gave me an example of what nutrition people do and diabetes and dietitian people do.
There's a lot of people who don't know what a dietitian is and what they do, so this kind of gives them a chance to see more than just doctor nurse. There's way more medical field than sometimes it seems.
Dietitian people actually have more things and other things to do, like in helping people with diseases and food disorders and with helping them eat. And nutrition is basically just getting your body in foods that's just helping you basically with nutrition.
Any other questions?
Is being a dietitian part of your mental health?
Depends on where you go. For those who work in the ICU and you work on tube feeding for people who can't eat, that can be very hard because one day you'll walk in and your patient's gone because they've passed overnight. So it can be like any other medical field.
What do you plan on doing when you graduate?
Going to college.
Or?
To become a mental health and substance abuse counselor. Let's use stress as an example. Some people use food to manage stress, so sometimes they can overeat and become overweight. And I think sometimes your appearance could affect your mental health. So if you're already stressed and you're overeating, it's just gonna make you sad.
My future plan is after high school, I want to be an OBGYN or at least a travel doctor. And the reason why I find this, like diabetes, so important to me is because I want to make sure that my client or my patient is very healthy, eating the right things, making sure that what they're thinking or how they feel mentally does not impact the way that they eat.
What was the hardest part about playing that? The hardest part, getting into the internship. The internship is very competitive. So that's probably the hardest part about being a dietitian. Once you're in the field, as long as you know what you're doing, you're golden.
It was interesting to me because I want to go into the medical field, and learning that actually gave me a better intake on life and like how, especially since I'm a basketball player, like how I should do my diet and like actually take precision and be precise about what I eat and things that I do. That was a very informative presentation, and I really, got into it and asked questions about it because I really wanted to know, because I want to go in that field.
Next semester, I want to join Baptist Health Academy in medical science.